Want to go straight to Princess Diana's former butler, confidant Paul Burrell. Paul, you were diagnosed with prostate cancer last year, I believe. Now, the palace have confirmed that the King's own illness is not prostate cancer, despite the fact that that's what he initially went in for, a procedure on his prostate. How do you think he'll be feeling at the moment?
I think he's feeling shocked the way we are to hear this news. I mean, first we're told that his condition is benign, and then we're told that he has some form of cancer. So it's very worrying. My thoughts are with the King, and I wish him a very speedy and full recovery. I know from personal experience, Patrick, that this impact is on the whole family, and in this case, it's on the whole nation. Millions are touched by cancer, as you know, and the King is no exception to this now. He's joined that club. But what he's doing is brilliant. He's using his condition to get to other people. He's using the platform for the best possible reasons. And it's changed a lot since the last monarchy, because I remember that no conditions were ever released by Buckingham Palace. They didn't talk about medical records. And many of us in our country are still blind as to what happened to our dear late Queen. So things have moved on a great deal since the Queen's passing. I don't think it's a time to panic, though, Patrick. It's not. I mean, people have said that he's continuing with his work behind closed doors, his government papers and things. And he seems to be in good spirits, and he's got the very best medical care. So, you know, I think he should lean on Princess Royal and the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh and William to such an extent that he can to keep the show on the road.
Yeah, spare a thought for William as well. We've had Catherine in hospital by a very serious operation by the sounds of it. Obviously, we've got Sarah Ferguson, who's recently had a cancer diagnosis herself, some other issues affecting the royal family, which we don't need to go into this evening. A heavy burden to fall on William. And, of course, he will be greeting his brother Harry in the coming days, we believe, as well.
Yes, well, it's not William's time yet. He thought he'd have at least another 10 years to grow his family and to live a happy family private life with Kate at Adelaide Cottage and then probably Royal Lodge in the future. It's not his time. And I think this is a great burden for William to think about. With Harry coming back as well, well, listen, the King loves both his sons. When I was diagnosed with cancer, the first thing I thought about were my two sons. And I told them. The King has done the same. And quite rightly, Harry's coming back to show public face, perhaps, but then to support the King and his brother. And I think this could be the step we need towards reconciliation between William and Harry. Their father is ill. The two sons should come together to support the King, certainly in private, behind closed doors. This doesn't mean, of course, that Harry's going to start doing public duties in this country. That's not the case. He's coming because his father is sick. And that's what we all do, isn't it? We all rally. And this family know better than anyone how to rally together, how to pull the troops together, and how to carry on regardless.
He will be getting some of the best medical care, Paul. I mean, look, you will have had an insight into the kind of medical attention that the royal family receive. Yes. And I think, look, my first thought with this was, goodness gracious me, the King must be getting more medical checkups and at the highest possible level than pretty much anyone else in the country. And yet this seems like it was a shock finding. I mean, what kind of care do you think he'll be getting now? It does seem to be outpatient.
Well, it is a shock because once your prostate is looked at, there are other things in the region which people look at too. I mean, that is a very delicate area where your prostate is, and the urethra and the lower bowel, and all of those things could be a problem in later life. But what is good is the fact that they found it so early. Early diagnosis can save lives, not just in prostate cancer, but in any cancer. And they found something worrying and they're dealing with it, and he's being treated by it. And I think that's incredible that they've actually found it.
And Camilla as well now will also face a heavy burden. It's worth remembering her at this particular time, isn't it? How do you think she'll be dealing with this?
Well, I think she's the steady hand on the tiller, and she's the she's the guiding force. And I think all this new movement of the Prince of Wales being the King being so open, I think it's down to Camilla. I think she is the stabilizer on the royal family's
So you
coach.
think, Paul, that the reason why the King has gone public about his cancer diagnosis is because of Camilla?
I do. I think she has that touch. I think she's able to reach people in a way the King can't. And I think she's taught him a lot in the last few years about monarchy and how to be king. And isn't that odd, really, that she should come up through the ranks and be so supportive and such a stabilizing influence in our modern day royal family?
And you mentioned a little earlier there about Prince Harry doing the right thing, coming back. I think everybody agrees with that. I think that this is a moment for potential reconciliation. Do you think it's right that Meghan Markle is staying away?
Personally, I think she would confuse and cloud the issue if she came over. I think her best place is in America. She should stay there and look after the children. Harry will deal with this personally. He came over for the coronation by himself. He's coming over now to wish his father well by himself. I think that's going to what's happened in the future. It will follow this pattern. I think Meghan doesn't have much love of these islands, whereas Harry does.
OK, just one final one with you, Paul. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Could you just issue a message to King Charles III, please? I mean, you have been through something relatively similar quite recently. You obviously know that family well. What would your message be?
My message to the King would be, you're in very good hands. We have the most incredible National Health Service in our country. You have the very best medical care. Put your faith in them, and you will come through this and be back on the throne before you know it, and back to public duty. Just lean on the people around you. You will be tired at times, but take it in a pace and look at the people around you. They will support you, and the country will support you. And we want you to be well. We want you to have a speedy recovery, and God bless you.
Paul, thank you very, very much. That's Paul Burrell there, of course, Diana's confidant and a recent cancer survivor as well, just reacting to that news that King Charles does sadly have cancer, a form of cancer.